South Africa's political landscape may be entering another decisive turning point, and at the center of this shift is the Democratic Alliance. A new power figure has emerged, and his message is already sending signals across the political spectrum. Solly Msimanga has stepped into one of the most influential positions within the party, and what he is proposing is not just change, it is a complete strategic overhaul. Speaking after his election at the party's Federal Congress in Midrand, Msimanga made it clear that this moment has been years in the making. A vision he first introduced back in 2018, once rejected, is now being embraced. But why now, and what has changed? Because South Africa itself has changed. The 2024 elections reshaped the political order, ending the era of single-party dominance and forcing the country into coalition governance. Power is now fragmented, control is no longer guaranteed. And for the Democratic Alliance, this creates both opportunity and risk. Msimanga's plan is bold. He wants to take the party into areas where it has historically struggled, communities where the DA has failed to connect, voters who have long felt excluded from its message. And this is where the real test begins. Because expanding into new political ground is not just about strategy, it is about credibility, it is about trust. And in South African politics, trust is hard to earn and easy to lose. At the same time, competition is intensifying. Parties like the Economic Freedom Fighters and the Umkhonto weSizwe Party are actively reshaping the political conversation, appealing to frustration, inequality, and economic hardship. This creates a volatile environment where every political move carries weight. So the question is no longer whether the DA wants to grow, the question is whether it can. Because the party is no longer just an opposition voice, it is part of a governing framework in a coalition era. And that means it must prove itself in real terms, not just through messaging, but through results. Now, beyond the strong opening message, Msimanga's strategy begins to reveal deeper layers. At its core is organizational renewal. This means restructuring how the party operates internally, improving coordination, strengthening leadership pipelines, and ensuring that its structures are capable of supporting expansion into new regions. This is not a small task. It requires discipline, consistency, and long-term commitment. Another key focus is representation. Msimanga has emphasized the need for South Africans to see themselves in the Democratic Alliance. This is a significant statement because one of the long-standing criticisms of the party has been its perceived inability to fully reflect the diversity of the country. Addressing this issue is not just about optics, it is about legitimacy. If the party wants to grow nationally, it must connect with a broader demographic base. And that means understanding local realities, community needs, and social dynamics in a much deeper way. But there is also a strategic calculation behind this approach. The Democratic Alliance knows that its traditional support base is not enough to secure national power. Growth is not optional, it is necessary, and that growth must come from areas where the party has historically been weak. This is where the real political risk lies, because entering new spaces means facing strong competition from parties that already have established support. It also means confronting skepticism from voters who may not easily trust the DA's intentions. At the same time, the party must maintain its existing support. Balancing expansion with stability is one of the most difficult challenges in politics, and it is one that Msimanga will have to navigate carefully. The timing of this strategy is also critical. With the 2026 local government elections approaching, the pressure is already building. These elections will serve as the first real test of whether the Democratic Alliance's new direction is working. Municipal performance will be closely watched. Service delivery, infrastructure, governance. These are the issues that voters experience directly, and they are often the deciding factors at the ballot box. Beyond 2026, the long-term goal is even more ambitious: the 2029 national elections. This is where the Democratic Alliance aims to transition from being a coalition participant to a leading force in government. Achieving this would represent a historic shift in South African politics, but it will require more than strategy. It will require execution, consistency, and the ability to adapt to a rapidly changing political environment. There are also internal dynamics to consider. Leadership changes often bring new energy, but they can also create tensions. Maintaining unity within the party will be essential, because any sign of division could weaken the overall strategy. Externally, the political environment remains unpredictable. Economic challenges, unemployment, service delivery failures, these issues continue to shape voter sentiment, and political parties are competing to position themselves as the solution. For Msimanga and the Democratic Alliance, the challenge is clear: turn vision into reality, turn strategy into results, and turn ambition into voter support. Because in today's South Africa, political success is no longer guaranteed by history. It must be earned, and it must be sustained. As this new phase unfolds, the focus will remain on whether the Democratic Alliance can truly transform itself into a party that resonates across the country, whether it can move beyond its limitations, and whether it can convince South Africans that it is ready not just to participate in government, but to lead it. Because ultimately, this is not just about one leader or one party. It is about the future direction of South Africa's political system and the choices that voters will make in the years ahead.